Dream Big with Steve Bartilla. Brought to you by
We are pretty darn good at literally tearing apart the woods to find that one spot where Mr. Big is going to walk through during legal shooting hours within weapons range of our stands. What we tend not to put enough thought into is not only do we need to get to a spot like that, but we also need to be able to do so without kicking the deer that we're trying to hunt out on our way in. And frankly, if we're going to hunt there again, we don't want to kick them out on the way out either. Also, yeah, it's great when you're in a stand and you can see a deer, but really our goal is to actually tag it to be able to effectively harvest the animals we're after. Okay. That all begins with trying to figure out how you're going to get to and from those locations. Now, I'll tell you what, especially if you're hunting the same spot repeatedly, keeping these deer ignorant to your presence is so darn important. Most people's seasons go about the same, or when they're hunting the same spot. What they do is they show up earlier in the year and the first couple days are really good, and the next day is okay, and the next day is nah, and the day after that, geez, I didn't see anything. The deer moved. Oftentimes, it's us that is causing it. We're actually pushing those deer out of there. We're pushing them out of there simply by being so darn sloppy with how we get to and from our stands most often. And wind directions from stands play a big difference too. But a lot of it has to do with how many deer we bump to and from the stand. Okay. To put it in perspective on how important I think this is, let's say we've got two stand sites. One's a 9.5 on a scale of 1 to 10, the other's a 7. And both of them are on a property that I'm planning on hunting all season long. If I can get to that 7, hunt it, and get out without getting busted far more consistently than I can the 9.5, I'm going to hunt that stand that's a 7 way more than that 9.5. The 9.5 stand, I'm going to save. I'm going to save that for the absolute peak deer movement. Man, during the rut, you can get away with things that you can't for the rest of the year. Those bucks are so focused on does that they end up being a little bit on the sloppier side when it comes to paying attention to their own personal safety. That's when I'm going to go in to that 9.5 stand, and I am going to get in there well before first light. I'm going to probably sit there all darn day or until I end up tagging out. Okay, that is how important I view low impact access and departure. And as I said, you can see it on property after property after property that the hunts, man, each sit, the quality just keeps going down.
Final thoughts brought to you by Huntworth.
Low impact access to and from safe wind stands is huge. We spend so much time walking around the woods going like this, looking for those trees in the right spots, but we don't really think about how we can get in and out. When you can go ahead and use a backbone like this, where you're not brushing up against things. Remember, if I simply, well, heck, I don't even have to brush up against something. If I breathe on a leaf, that odor it can be picked up by whitetails for as much as 24 hours later. We educate far more deer after we leave the woods than we ever do while we're in it. Place a premium on finding these types of low impact access and departure routes to your safe wind stands, and man, your hunting doesn't have to get worse with each sit on that property. Think low impact and it'll actually get better because everybody else around you, they aren't being anywhere near as low impact as you are, and that makes the deer go just like this into your honey hole.